from thetatraders.com. This video I'm going to do the weekend update on technical analysis, economic reports, and the earnings reports for week of August 4th through the 8th. So for Friday, we did have a pretty big VIX spike. You see we were at the 14 level, which is below the long-term average, and then spiked up, closed at 20.38. It was up to 22 at one point and started to level off. If you look at the June volatility, we're at the 20s as well. So this could act as a possible resistance, although it's hard to do support and resistance on VIX just because volatility could go at any moment. Just be aware that we are above long-term simple moving average on the volatility. And because of that, in general, when volatility goes up, market goes down. So you can see here, market had a pretty big downturn on Friday, down 1.6%. Broke through this volume level at the 635 for SPY. Actually broke through the 622 and then started to consolidate back up to the 622, which is a large volume here. So there's a good chance that we might stay in this level. If we see better news on Trump tariffs and job reports that came out this week. With Trump, he made tariff news for many countries that started on August 4th on the Friday. If the Trump and the tariff news actually starts to dissipate a bit, we could get back to this level. However, there isn't much volume below it. So you just got to be aware and be careful with further downturns. The RSI did go from overbought down to 50 on the daily, which is about average, which is still fine. So there's a decent chance we could consolidate here if there's not much more economic news. But with heightened volatility, it's typically better to be selling options. So now this could be a good time to be selling put credit spreads, call credit spreads, or even cash secured puts if you want to get a sign and wheel it. MACD has been curling downward as well. Look at QQQ, it's going to be very similar. Had a downturn on the Friday as well, down 1.9%. Big volume at the 553, and we ended up closing pretty much right at that volume profile. RSI is at the 50s, still pretty neutral in the RSI. However, that happened in one day. That was a pretty big drop in the RSI. So we are pretty bearish in general. IWM, very similar story. There is further volume at the 208. 215 has where we closed, and 214 has a decent amount of volume. Might act as a support level. So if we possibly consolidate with the VIX not necessarily moving up, we'll probably be okay in that. Earnings. So earnings for next week, we have good amount of stocks. There's not many large cap ones. Caterpillar, HIMS, AMD is a big one. Aflac, McDonald's, Uber. These are relatively large cap, but not huge. Disney. A lot of the economic news that happened or for earnings happened last week with Apple, Microsoft. They went pretty positive. Amazon went pretty down. Meta also went positive. So we have some of the medium / slightly large cap stocks for this week, and won't necessarily change the market a ton. But luckily, we did have relatively good earnings on the super large caps last week. For economic news, Monday, not much besides factory orders that could tie into the job reports from Friday that were pretty bearish. Tuesday, we have PMI. Wednesday, crude oil, that happens every month. A few of the FOMC members are speaking. Thursday, not much in the U.S. until unemployment claims. So that could tie into the job market report. If this is pretty bearish, then we could see some further downturns. So I definitely want to watch out at 7:30 Central Standard Time Thursday for the economic reports. And that's it for the week. So if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff. Appreciate your support. And I'll see you guys on the next one.